What's up, guys? This is Snoob Reviews, and we're gonna check out some more One Piece this week, and we're gonna talk about Chapter 5, The King of the Pirates, and The Greatest Swordsman. So we get a chapter cover of Luffy and the dolphin. They're fighting over a juice of some sort on a picnic table that looks like on like a wharf. But yeah, and Zoro's just drinking his grog in the back, and more dolphins jumping. Neat little design. Anyways, so we start out the chapter, and it's Luffy, and he's dragging Helmeppo like he did last chapter, and he's asking where Zoro's swords are. And Helmeppo's like, "Yo, Luffy, stop dragging me, man, and I'll tell you," like beating the piss out of me. And Luffy's like, "All right, tell me." Yeah, so Helmeppo's just like, "They're back in my room. We passed them forever ago. If you just stopped dragging me, I could have told you." Luffy just starts punching him, and he's like, "You're wasting my time, man." He's like, "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" And a bunch of Morgan's men show up, and Luffy just grabs Helmeppo and holds him in front of him as like a human shield, and he says, "Go ahead and shoot." And the Helmeppo's freaking out. He's like, "Don't shoot, don't shoot." Then the Marines are talking about, they can't shoot Morgan's son. So we cut back over to Kobe and Zoro, and Kobe was shot at the end of last chapter, and he's waking up and he's screaming. He's like, "I've been shot! Blood, I'm bleeding! Ah!" And he's like, just starts saying he's gonna die, and Zoro's like, "Oh, you're alive." It's just kind of ironic. Like, he's screaming in pain. He thinks he's gonna die, and Zoro's like, "Yeah, so you're actually alive. Good to know, man. Thought they got you in the heart or something." And he starts telling Kobe that he needs to get out of here. He needs to get away before Morgan and them actually come down here and do something to him. And Kobe's like, "I haven't untied you yet." Kobe's still trying to do the right thing for Zoro. Zoro's like, "Oh, don't worry about it, man. I can take another month of this stuff. Don't even worry. I'll be out of here and everything will be squared up." And Kobe's just like, "They're not going to let you go. They're going to execute you in 3 days." He's like, "Me and Luffy found out, and that's why Luffy got so mad. He got so mad that, he just had to punch Helmeppo. He just couldn't take it." And, yeah, that just really hits home with Zoro. He's like, "What?" He's like, "I've been played, like, I've been made a fool." He's like, "I thought they were more honorable than this." And, Luffy's trying to save his life, and Kobe's worried that Luffy's biting off more than he can chew, and he wants Zoro to help him. And he says, he's like, you guys could fight together and get out of this place." He's like, "Luffy's really strong," and he's like, "If you escape from here, I'm not asking you to be a pirate, man. Like, I'm not gonna be a pirate with Luffy, but you should help him escape." It's because not Helmeppo, Kobe really does care so much about Luffy and how much he's impacted his life in just, the short little while that they've been together. So the Marines show up and they're like, "Stay where you are. Captain Morgan is going to come down here and establish how these executions are about to happen." And Kobe and Zoro are just like, "Oh, shit." And Luffy's still searching for Zoro's swords, which he finds in Helmeppo's room finally. And he doesn't know. He doesn't know which one's Zoro's sword. He's like, "There's three here." And he asks Helmeppo, but Helmeppo just, passed out from being dragged around by Luffy. So Luffy's just like, "Screw it, I'll grab them both," because he looks outside and he sees Morgan surrounding them, and that Kobe and Zoro are both stuck, and there's a firing line ready to just take them out. And the whole time, Morgan's going off on these delusional rants. Like, really, his character is extremely delusional. He focuses so much on rank and superiority. He thinks he's so much better than people because of his placement in the Marines, which is not that high even, but like just his own superiority over his men gives him such an ego that he constantly thinks that there's like heretics around him, people constantly trying to take advantage of him or overthrow him in some way. He feels like he's constantly fighting for his position at the top. So, we get to see a cool image of Morgan walking in He's got this axe all over his shoulder. You see this big long handle sticking out, which is kind of dope actually. He really utilizes it in battle, and he's like, Zoro, peasants and pirates may tremble at your name, but you're no match for me. I'm the greatest, man. Like, you may be a barracuda, but I'm a great white shark. Kobe's just like, oh dear God, oh God. And, Zoro just is sitting there going, I can't die like this. I can't die tied up to a post, not even able to hold my swords and die in battle. It's like there's something I still have to do. He's talking about his ambition. He has something more he needs to complete in life that's bigger than his life itself. More important to him. And so he feels like dying is just him being too weak to take on the challenge he had set for himself. We get a nice flashback of Zoro. Learn a little bit about his background. Now, Zoro, I don't think has the best backstory, but I also don't think he needs much more. I really do like the way his backstory is just set up. So Zoro starts talking about how he made a promise in his flashback, and then we get to see a picture of him as a kid. He's holding two swords. He's got two of these training katanas, and it says, 2 swords Zoro loses. Zoro is 0 for 2,000 against Kuina. So Zoro's been fighting this girl Kuina, who is the runner of the dojo's daughter, the master of the dojo. It's her daughter, and she's the best he can fight in that school. Now, apparently, Zoro's been fighting people as often as he can here. He's constantly trying to become better as a swordsman. He beats a lot of the adults, like, just beats the hell out of them. But he can't beat Kuina. He doesn't even come close to shining a light on her. And she just kind of, like, teases him, which it helps in their relationship. It's what makes Zoro drive to be more, to be better. He wants to beat Kuina so bad. And, yeah, she just calls him pathetic. And, yeah, all the other kids who train there with Zoro are like, no, Zoro's really strong. He beats some of the adults. Yeah, I mean, just because you're the, your teacher's daughter, you know some secret tricks or something. They all think she's got, like, some advantage. She's like, it's not my fault he's weak. Even if he can use 2 swords, he's still 2 swords and he's weak. Like, it doesn't change anything. So Zoro goes and apparently he's talking to his master and he's frustrated. He's just laughing. He's like, it's odd because you're so strong. And he's getting annoyed. He's just frustrated. He's like, God damn it, everyone knows I'm strong, but yeah, I'm not stronger than her. And he's like, yeah, he's just sitting there like, the hell is this, man? Why can't I beat her? And his master's just like, Kuina's a little older than you. He's like, I beat grown-ups. He's like, I beat grown men, professional trained swordsmen, people who've fought in the world, and I can't beat Kuina. So Zoro's like, I'm gonna sail the seas and become the greatest master in the world. He's like, I can't keep losing to that girl. He's like, I'm gonna become the best swordsman if that's what it takes to beat her. Literally, his goal is more to beat Kuina at this point than it is to become the greatest swordsman. It's like, literally, he feels like he needs to be the greatest swordsman to beat her. She's some kind of, like, mental block he can't get past. So Zoro finds Kuina training at night. She's training outside the dojo, just doing some practice on dummies. And Zoro brings 2 blades out, and he's like, Kuina, I challenge you to a duel with real swords. He wants to fight her with their lives on the line. He's like, I know we're not supposed to, but he's like, you're not afraid of real swords, are you? And Kuina's just like, your funeral, man. Okay, I'm game. And they set up the fight, and Kuina just, like, beats the shit out of him instantly again. And it frustrates Zoro. He doesn't know what to do. He's just can't beat her, and he constantly trains, and he just can't surpass her. It's like she's either getting better than him, or he just can't beat her, is how he feels. But Zoro's lying on the ground crying, frustrated, and Kuina goes on to say, I'm the one who's frustrated. When girls get older, they get weaker. Pretty soon, Zoro, you're gonna be stronger than me. There's nothing I can do. And she's just sitting there kind of sulking, and you know, she's envious of Zoro. Well, she's she's envious of Zoro because, you know, he has his dream and it seems achievable to her. But she wants the same dream and she doesn't feel like it is because she's female. And this makes Zoro really, really angry. He hates the fact that, you know, she's better than him and she's bringing her gender into it. He's like, seriously, that's what you're crying about? Yeah, she goes on to talk about, you know, my breasts just started growing in. And then she says, I wish I was a boy. And this is just all an insult to Zoro. I mean, I want to comment that, like, Oda's trying to bless you with something right now, Kuina. You just gotta let it happen. You could have been Tashigi. You could have been. But no, either that or it's like Zoro just curses all these women. There's like no way they can be swordsmen because they're carrying massive sweater puppies. But anyways, Zoro's just frustrated. He's like, are you kidding me? He's like, that's not fair. You are my dream. To beat you is to be the best at this point. And you're sitting there going on about how you're already done. You know, you're not going to be able to be the best. And it makes Zoro feel super inadequate. She kind of perks up after this. Zoro's kind of, you know, kicking her in the pants, making her realize she's letting her father, the dojo master, set rules and boundaries that she feels like she shouldn't be able to exceed, but there's no reason that she can't, that she's the only one that's holding herself back. And Zoro just kind of goes on and says, he's like, someday I'll beat you because I trained hard, not because you got weaker. He's like, it's nothing to do with our gender. He's like, I'm training all the time just to beat you, and you're making me look bad. And so Zoro asks her to make a promise with him. He says, someday we'll become the greatest swordsman ever. We'll fight each other for that title. And perks Queen up. This flashback is decent. It's really decent. Yeah, I really like this flashback, except for they like really take all these moments away where it's like trying to get Zoro to be motivated, and he's got this character that's driving him, and it's not that he couldn't kill Kuina. I think that's a great idea to kill Kuina. It really gives Zoro a reason to be the greatest swordsman without being bound to a singular person. But the way they killed her really just tapered down everything for me. It's like, okay, Kuina is better than Zoro. Zoro at this age is already becoming one of the strongest swordsmen in the East Blue. He can't beat Kuina, and the way she goes is she trips down some stairs. It's just, to me, it felt like a lazy way to kill her. I really like Oda. I think he's pretty good at writing, but I don't know what the situation here is. If he does something different with Kuina later in the story, people have theorized about Wano, Kuina being there. I don't really think that, but the way they killed her off just made her seem so lackluster as a supporting piece of Zoro's goal. But nonetheless, Zoro continues to stand by his dream. So he asks his master if he can have Kuina's sword. He says, I'll keep our promise. I'll keep both of our end of the promise. I'm going to become the best swordsman. So great a swordsman that my name reaches out to heaven. Which, you know, it's funny because later on Oda goes on to make Zoro's character, he doesn't believe in God. He kind of just he practices forms of Zen, but I don't think he believes in like some kind of afterlife or some kind of benefit other than it like helps him concentrate and focus and really put all of his mind and effort into his fighting. But it's just a reference here. I mean, it's still good. He just wants to be such a great swordsman that the whole world, everyone will know him, that to the point that Kuina would have to know the best to that degree. Zoro's just like, I promised her I couldn't die yet. He's like, I've got to complete my promise, my end of our deal. Like, or else, you know, I'm nothing but a failure. Luffy had caught attention of what's going on in the parade grounds, where they're gonna execute them. Luffy, of course, busts out the Gum Gum rocket. This time it actually lands without really killing anyone to some degree. Morgan's firing off his shots, and Luffy's, rocketing as quick as he can there. And bam, Luffy lands just in the nick of time. And because he's made of rubber and they use round shells, they use like they fire lead balls. They like hit his skin and they don't pierce through, and so they just stretch back, and then Luffy can send them back. He can send all the shots flying back at his opponents. It's a great defensive and offensive move. And he just yells, "Bullets can't hurt me!" and just screams, sends all the shots back to everyone who sent them. And, everyone else is freaking out. They're looking at this kid like, what the hell? The only one who understands a little bit is Kobe. But even then, Kobe didn't think, I don't think Kobe thought he could take bullets and just bounce them back. It's something that's really useful. I mean, guns in One Piece kind of mellow out. And you get like cannon guns and other stuff. It's usually used on fodder. People who aren't strong, like even like Usopp and all them, don't really deal with guns to a really bad degree. Most of the characters get strong enough not to worry about it. Early on, it's cool, but there are characters who can use guns, and effectively using hockey, like observation or armament, they can do some really interesting stuff with guns. But guns have kind of tapered out after the East Blue arc. They're not really that priority. There's people who use them, but they're just fodder kill. But anyways, it's cool because Luffy isn't affected by something that is handled like it's a big deal early on. Zoro was freaking out because he almost was going to get shot while he's tied up. I don't think Zoro would even worry about it at this point in the story later. Chapter 900, Zoro could be like, you'd have me cuffed in Karasaki and I wouldn't even worry about a bullet. But yeah, they all start screaming, like, what the hell's wrong with you? And Luffy's like, I'm the guy who's going to be king of the pirates, bro. And everyone was seriously, like, his charm rubs off on you, but literally this guy's like made of rubber, goes through every situation without even thinking, and just keeps saying, I'm going to be king of the pirates. At the point you're going to start believing him, you're also going to be like, dude, you're a goddamn lunatic. Zoro probably still thinks he's a lunatic, to my opinion, but Zoro's also a moron, and nobody else would be able to support him the same way Luffy does, so they're a perfect duo. And so Luffy goes to return Zoro's swords. He's like, so which one's yours? And Zoro's like, they're all mine. He's like, I practice Sentoryu, and it's 3-sword style fighting, so it's like he uses each sword independently in his combat style. It's not like he alternates between 3 or something. Yes, he's using them all at once. And if he's like, hey, I'll give you these swords. I'm not gonna just make you join my crew. But he's like, but the Navy's gonna screw you over right now. They're not trying to support you right now, man. You're looking like one of the bad guys. And he's like, of course you could obey the law and let them kill you. Zoro's just like, you must be like a demon, man. Like, you never let up. He's like, but whatever. I'm not ready to die. I still have goals to reach. She's like, you've got yourself a pirate. Hey, and there we go. That's chapter 5 of One Piece. It's the Pirate King and the Greatest Swordsman. So, yeah, we'll be talking to you later this week. I'm going to do a couple more videos. I kind of slacked off last couple days. Been dealing with a toothache that's been just really killing me. And then I've been streaming a bit more and having good times doing that, playing games and drinking a bit. But we'll look forward to that. I believe One Piece, the actual current release, are on break for the week, which is good. I'd rather break now than 2 weeks later or something. But let's get back to it. I'll bust out some more of the older chapters. I was thinking about doing a discussion about Yu Yu Hakusho or Mob Psycho at some point soon too, just to kind of widen the variety of the channel. So, anyways, appreciate it. Check you guys later.